Hello everyone and welcome to IVSA Beather's official YouTube channel Pashuvani. Pashuvani is a platform that provides you with veterinary education. Our video series consists of practical relevant lecture videos, field approach clinical aspects, guide and tip for future careers, smart content related to both animal and veterinary science. We believe sharing is caring, so please like, comment and subscribe for further updates. And now, let's welcome a speaker of today's episode of Saturday's Sharing.
Good morning. I am Dr. Vijay Kumar Matham, Associate Professor and Head Department of Veterinary Pharmacology and Toxicology, Veterinary College Bidar, and I am going to present the topic toxicology of common poisonings and care and management of intoxicated animals as a part of lecture series of IVSA Bidar chapter. And so coming to the topic itself, the biggest challenge we face in the field is how to manage and how to treat the case that are being suspected for poisoning conditions. Now if you see the reasons to suspect the poisoning in animals, so we usually divide the cases based on clinical presentations into three categories. That is the first category, that is non-infectious cases. Second category is the infectious cases, and third category is the cases that belongs to poisoning. So in the non-infectious and infectious cases we are not going to deal much, but how to handle the cases which belong to the category of suspected poisoning. So the important points that assist us in identifying that this is could be a case of poisoning. So all the animal which is very healthy will become suddenly sick, and there will be sudden onset to clinical signs, or the group of animals belonging to a particular farmer will die, and all the animals belonging to a particular farmer or exposed to a particular condition are getting affected at the same time. Similar clinical signs, similar necropsy findings, and there might be a dispute when you visit the case for treatment. There might be an argument among the people who are responsible for taking care and management of the animals, and the circumstantial evidence, the place where the animal is lying and the where the animals who have died are lying. So circumstantial evidence is also will give you an indication about the probable reason for that particular case to be suspected as a case of poisoning. So coming to further discussion that how these poisonings needs to be pinpointed. So I told you that all the animals getting affected, or there is a sudden increase in the clinical signs and sudden death. So the sudden death in ruminants could be because of anthrax, HS, and blackwater morbidity is very high, ET and botulism in sheep, listeriosis, and there could be mycoplasma in caprine, leptospirosis or salmonellosis, septic mastitis, neonatal diarrhea, and acute vitamin A deficiencies. So if you see these all the conditions, these are the conditions where there is a severe mortality and sudden mortality of animals. But compared to the earlier slide where I told you that in poisoning there might be sudden onset of clinical signs and sudden death, the important differentiating factor between the earlier one and this slide is that these are all the infectious diseases. They affect on a large scale, they affect the animals in a village level, they affect the animals in more than one farmer. But in poisoning cases, the suspected cases always will be only related to one particular farmer, not more than one particular farmer, and you can easily identify that the animals could have been exposed to the poison either due to accidental ingestion, licking, or drinking or grazing, or because of mismanagemental, that is not a good managemental practices as done by farmer out of his ignorance. So coming to the sudden death in toxicology, so we are focusing more on poisoning conditions. So once we eliminate that there could not be any infectious, non-infectious and infectious causes, then the next task is how to identify that this is a case of poisoning, and once you identify that this belongs to a case of poisoning, then how the things needs to be further discussed from here onwards. So usually in the poisonings there are n number of poisons that are responsible for producing a death or sudden illness in among animals. So some of them are zinc phosphide, coumarin rodenticides, pesticides, that is organochlorine, or also we call it as chlorinated hydrocarbon, organophosphorus compounds, carbamates, pyrethroids. Of course, natural electrocution or lightning shock, snake venom, it could be a neurotoxic, it could be a hemotoxic. Urea, this is one of the biggest problem we are facing in Indian context. Sodium nitrate, that is nitrite poisoning or sodium hydrogen cyanide poisoning, and then nicotine poisoning in some of the areas. Then the rest of the things like salt, these are all based on the feed composition, managemental aspects. These are all playing a critical role. But if you consider 100% of the poisoning cases, 75% of the cases what we are going to handle or what we are going to expect in the field, they belong to this particular organochlorine, organophosphorus. So we call it as pesticides. So they form the major problem for us in the treatment. So again, so we are going step by step to identify what is the major how to identify the poisoning case, and within the poisoning case, what is the possible reason playing a critical role in damaging the health of the animal. So in the common source of poisonings or toxicity, the first major role is done by the pesticides. So pesticides are the chemicals what we use in a good intention to remove a weed, to remove a herb, unwanted herb, to remove an insect from the body of the animal or the crop, and to remove a rodent that is damaging the crop. So basically these are the chemicals that are being designed to assist the farmers to enhance the crop production. But unfortunately, because of accidental ingestion or accidental exposure of these chemicals to the body of the animal, they are resulting in production of converting into a dangerous chemicals. Urea is also one of the important chemical that we use for enhancement of crop production, but unfortunately because of severe excessive, indiscriminate and excessive usage of urea, consuming to the animal, and mixing of urea with molasses for as a NPN source for the animal. So all these factors are resulting in development of more urea poisoning cases or urea and related cases. Cyanide, that is jawar, immature jawar or sorghum vulgare, is one of the biggest poisoning case where it doesn't give us any time for the treatment. Nitrate and nitrite are region specific, environmental specific, or in the summer where the leaves are very less, the nitrate from the soil keeps accumulating in the stem, and because there is no leaves, the photosynthesis nitrate cannot be utilized. So the plants, the animals could not able to get the adequate fodder. They graze on these stems, and the stems contains highest concentration of nitrates, and then the animal will become subject of nitrate poisoning. Industrial effluents, the places where there is a severe industrial effluents, so they are also responsible for producing the poisoning, which because of contamination of nearby water bodies or the pastures. And in the polluted water, blue green algae, mycotoxins, especially for the swine as well as poultry industry. And there are region season specific poisonous plants, and also certain commercial crops and unconventional feeding. So I told you that the biggest problem we are facing in terms of poisoning conditions is the pesticides. So it's a very broad word, pesticides. So they comprises of different segments. If you are using a chemical to remove an insect, they are basically designed to protect the crops from the damage of insects, herbs, weeds, fungus, and to enhance the crop production. But whenever there is an accidental ingestion or exposure to the body of the animal, it is causing the huge damage in the health of the animal as well as the mortality in the animals. So in the insecticides, we divide them into insecticides, herbicides, weedicides, fungicides, rodenticides, defoliants, and veterinary insecticides. So insecticides itself are again we divide into organochlorine insecticides, organophosphates, carbamates, pyrethroids, and miscellaneous compounds. But coming to organochlorines, there we call them as chlorinated hydrocarbons, endrin, endosulfan, aldrin, dialdrin. These are the most commonly used n number of organochlorine compounds. And organophosphates, malathion, parathion, chlorpyrifos, dichlorovos, So these are the most commonly used organophosphates. Carbamates we use most commonly in horticulture crops, cash crops, aldicarb, even Baygon spray we use carbamate, propoxar. Pyrethroids is what we are using on our day-to-day life. Alithrin, deltamethrin, cypermethrin, whatever we are using for mosquito repellents and in tick collars, as well as in the uh, different human preparations and other miscellaneous compounds. So you can see the gravity of these compounds producing on the health of the animal, where their mortality will be very high, the economic loss to the farmer is very high, the poison will not give any time for the veterinarian to treat the case, and that is why these are the most critical cases and very challenging for the veterinarians to handle. So, as there are many poisons existing in the market, and it is very tough to identify which poison is responsible for which kind of treatment and what it belongs to, we do not know. So, the government has made it mandatory to identify that each poison should be labeled, must and should be labeled with these marks. So, whenever you get any suspected case of poisoning, you can just ask the farmer, does he have any history of using any poison, and if you just ask him to bring the poisonous container or the label, and just on the back of the poison you can see what is this kind of color that has been printed. So if it is a red color is printed, then it is going to be an extremely toxic poison. If it is a yellow color, then it is a highly toxic. If it is a violet color, then it is a moderately toxic, and if it is a green color, then it is a slightly toxic. So depending upon the type of color that has been printed on the container, rather than focusing on more on the kind of chemical and to which category it belongs, because poisoning conditions are extremely time sensitive treatments. So that is why if you can just focus on the label and just you can see that what is the kind of label that has been printed or on by which the animal has been exposed, then it saves a lot of time. So extremely toxic red color, highly toxic yellow color, moderately toxic violet color, and green color is for slightly these cases. So coming to organochlorine insecticides, we have endosulfan, endrin, aldrin, dialdrin, and hepatochlor. So they are highly lipid soluble, they are neuroexcitatory. So the important thing is that the organochlorine insecticides salivation will be very frothy and temperatures will be very high, and you get convulsions. So there is the clinical signs is behavioral alterations. Without touching the body of the animal, just have a look at the face of the animal. Salivation is completely frothy, covering the entire face, and temperature is hyperthermia, and posture is a very typical Muslim prayer position, we call it as. That is an indication of organochlorine poisoning. So the therapeutic management, quickly start the therapeutic management. Activated charcoal 1 to 2 kg mixed with water, and then give like a slurry to the body of the animal orally, and which will help in preventing the absorption. Non-oily purgatives, never use any kind of oil purgatives. It's always better go with magnesium sulfate. Then fluid therapy, that is calcium gluconate or calcium borogluconate, to enhance the metabolism and faster elimination of the um, poison from the body of the animal. Atropine to counter the parasympathomimetic signs, that is salivation, 0.05 mg per kg, that is one third subcutaneous and rest intravenous. Anticonvulsants, that is phenopentobarbital sodium, and keep continuing the activated charcoal for a week daily, not more than 250 mg, that means up to 5 grams per animal orally mixed with water as a slurry paste, and phenobarbital sodium 10 mg per kg daily for a week to take care of the uh, hepatotoxicity, and also to enhance the cytochrome enzymes, thereby the metabolism is enhanced. And then coming to organophosphates, so I told you that in the organochlorine the salivation is frothy and the temperatures are very high, hyperthermia, and the animal have a specific posture called Muslim prayer position, and then the animal will be having severe temperature. So that's a major identification mark in organophosphates with convulsions. In the organochlorine, in the organophosphates we have malathion, parathion, dichlorowas, chlorpyrifos. So here it damages, the major damage of organophosphates will be on the parasympathetic nervous system. That means it inhibits the acetylcholinesterase. So acetylcholine gets converted into acetic acid and choline. So because of the inhibition of acetylcholinesterase, there is a continuous accumulation of acetylcholine inside the nerve terminals of the parasympathetic nervous system, and that is the reason why we get the parasympathomimetic clinical signs in organophosphate poisoning. So we call it as the muscarinic nicotinic central effects. So basically, without touching the body of the animal, if it is a case of organophosphate poisoning, there is the salivation is watery, touching the ground and drop by drop. In rabies, the salivation is string falling from the mouth of the animal to the ground, but in organophosphate poisoning, the salivation is drop by drop, touching, falling watery and falling on the ground by drop by drop. So slud is nothing but salivation, lacrimation, urination and diarrhea, and the pupil is meiosis. Nicotinic, there is a severe muscle fasciculations, tremors, but compared to organochlorine, the convulsions are less in organophosphates. Treatment is same: activated charcoal, atropinization and 2-palm. And in 2-palm, pyridine aldoxime methiodide or diacetyl monoxime as 10% solution in physiological saline. But there is an important difference between the carbamates as well as organophosphate poisonings that you should always keep in mind, that the clinical signs of carbamates and organophosphates are similar. And the most important point you should keep in mind, that before you give 2-palm injection, you should wait for 30 minutes after giving injection atropine sulfate. If the salivation has cessation of salivation, that is salivation has stopped, that means it is a case of carbamate. But even after 30 minutes, up to from the time 1 to time 30, if there is no salivation, after 30 minutes again salivation has started, then it is a case of organophosphate. So whenever after giving injection atropinization, please wait for 30 to 40 minutes, and if there is no again a recurrence of salivation, then it is a carbamate poisoning. But if there is a recurrence of salivation, then it is organophosphate poisoning. So when it is confirmed that it is an organophosphate poisoning, then only you should proceed for giving injection 2-palm or diacetyl monoxime, because oximes are toxic, and also you should be careful with the dose of the oxime, and they themselves will inhibit ACHE. That is the reason why you should be very careful in giving the 2-palm injections. So this is a slide that will help us in identifying different cases just based on looking at the posture of the animal. So if you see head down, forelegs abducted, it is cyanide poisoning. Fore and hind legs abducted and swollen, anticoagulants, it is warfarin. Fore and hind legs extended with head thrown back, strychnine. A Muslim prayer position, kneeling with head in between forelegs or rear part of the body, organochlorine poisoning. Skin peels off easily, arsenical insecticides. Subcutaneous extravasations, phosphorus and abrus. Yellow ruminant content, nitric acid. Blackish ruminant content, sulfuric acid. Bloated in case of urea ammonical fertilizers as well as zinc phosphide. So what are the hints for differential diagnosis? Because there are n number of poisons, and how to handle the poisons, and what are the different differential diagnosis. So you can see meiosis in organophosphorus pesticides and nicotine poisoning, midriasis in cyanide, nitrate, snake venom, and atropine overdose and electrocution, hyperthermia in organochlorine, dinitrophenol, metaldehyde. Neurological signs we see in lead, OC, OP, urea, tobacco leaves, mycotoxins, phenol, chlorophenol, cyanide, and fluorostate, and confusing all the infectious and other conditions, which gives us a tough challenge in identification of the poison, is tetanus, rabies, hypomagnesemia, tetany, vitamin A deficiency, and CNS pathology. So carbamates, and please remember always all the organochlorine insecticides clinical sign wise are related to pyrethroids, and all the organophosphate insecticides clinically is related to carbamates. So all the clinical signs of organophosphates can be seen in carbamates, and all the clinical signs of organochlorine insecticides can be seen in pyrethroids. But the only difference, as I mentioned, is in the difference between organophosphorate and carbamates. You should give atropine injection, wait for 30 minutes, and if there is no further recurrence of salivation, then it is a carbamate. No need of going for a 2-palm. But if the salivation stops, then it is again recurs, then it is organophosphate, and you have to go for the uh, 2-palm injection. Similarly, in the pyrethroids, the safety margin of safety is very high. We call it as insect mammalian ratio. So you only need to keep the animal safe for 24 hours, and they are indirectly proportional to the temperature. So directly, if the temperature is less, absorption will be very high. If the temperature is high, absorption will be very less. So that's why you need to keep the animal under high temperature. Rodenticides, now we are in the third generation rodenticides, that is bromodiolone. Coumarin was earlier we were using, but now we are not using much. And now the biggest problem we are facing with the zinc phosphide, bromodiolone, and brodiform. And arsenic compounds are used for ant killer powder. Strychnine is locally prepared bait. These are vitamin K1 injections are needs to be given, and zinc phosphide, which is responsible, phosgene is released, which is responsible for the damage inside the body of the host, and that's the reason why we get severe mortality inside the animals. So coumarin, so all the rodenticides, most of them they inhibit the clotting factors 2, 7, 9 and 10. There is a massive internal hemorrhage, blood discharge from natural orifices, and the treatment is sedate the animal, vitamin K1, a large animal 0.5 to 1 mg per kg slow IV, and small animal 5 mg per kg. Repeat the IM and paras for next 4 to 6 days, cardiovascular respiratory support, blood transfusion if possible. Zinc phosphide, we have severe excitement, so compulsive hypermotility, howling and yelping, barking and snapping of teeth, tremors, temperature, and struggling with convulsions, coma and death. And in the acetylene odor in the stomach is a pathognomonic clinical signs of zinc phosphide. Care and management, you need to, there is no specific antidote. Lavage with the gastric lavage with 5% sodium bicarbonate. Keep the animal in inclined position to drain fluids. Compress the chest to facilitate drainage. Sedate to decrease tissue oxygen demand. Osmotic diuretic, dextrose 5% IV to minimize liver and kidney damage. In dogs, treat convulsions with diazepam. And very briefly, I'll just mention about the hydrocyanic acid or the cyanide. Immature sorghum, maize or linseed, tapioca, Johnson or Sudan grass, and they are all responsible for the accumulation case. And at the different stages, different animals will have, could be from the industrial effluents, natural plants, grasses, forages. So from all the aspects it enters into the animal. So cherry red color is what we see in the cyanide poison. The treatment, sodium nitrite, that is IV 20 mg per kg, sodium thiosulfide 500 mg per kg, vitamin B12 10 mg per kg, dextrosaline, and cobalt chloride, sodium thiosulfate, anticonvulsants. Always please remember, invariably you have to treat with sodium nitrite followed by sodium thiosulfide, because cyanide is inside the cytochrome oxidase, so it has to be brought from the mitochondrial matrix to the circulation, and from there it has to be sent out from the body. So from the cytochrome oxidase complex, the nitrate will bring it into the circulatory system, and cyanomethemoglobin we call it as, and from there the cyanothiosulfate will be bringing the cyanide outside the body. So both are important. Even if you give one injection, you don't get any response to the body of the animal. Nitrate is also one of the important, which is mortality wise is less, but the damage is very high. So you have oxyhemoglobin, it gets converted into methemoglobin. Methylene blue is the treatment, 1% weight by volume in saline, 8.8% mg per kg body weight slow IV. Ascorbic acid is a wonderful drug. You can give it as a 5 to 20 mg per kg body weight IV, or even powder is available which you can give orally after mixing with water. adrenaline and cardiovascular support as per the need and fluid therapy. Thank you for your patience hearing, and you can just mail me vijaymatham@gmail.com for any of your queries.